Hello folks, and welcome back to my channel. We have another book review today, and this one is another one that's a little bit out of left field, but stick with me on this one, I promise. I just finished reading The Starfish and the Spider, The Unstoppable Power of Leaderless Organizations. This one was recommended to me by someone. I actually don't remember who. I'm pretty sure it was in the comment section of a video or a post, or maybe in a conversation. If you're the person who suggested this, I'm so sorry I spaced. But I, as many of you know, opened my own studio just about a year ago. I'm pre-filming this in February, so we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Nexus. And something that I knew that was really important to me in opening my own studio was the way power works within the studio. As someone who had a very unsafe apprenticeship, as someone who has dealt with abuse in the industry, a lot of that comes from hierarchical systems of power. And I also just think there are better and more collaborative ways to exist in a business and like survive in capitalism. So a more like horizontal power structure is something that I'm interested in. And this book in particular talks about the power of non-hierarchical organizations and leaderless organizations. And it does so in a really interesting way. It actually starts by comparing Napster, the Apaches, and the arguments about peer-to-peer sharing that happened in the 90s and 2000s, which is not a comparison I expected to read about, but hooked me right away in the first chapter in discussing the difference in types of organizations. And the metaphor that they use throughout the book is that of a starfish and a spider. A spider, if you cut off the head, dies. It's over. If you take out the leader, the top hierarchy, things are done. But a starfish, if you cut off one of its arms, it will regrow a whole new starfish out of that, and it will just keep moving. And so they compare different types of organizations to these two creatures. A starfish is a leaderless organization where even if you remove one portion of it, it will continue to grow. A really common starfish organization they talk about here is Alcoholics Anonymous, that there's hundreds and thousands of different circles all over the world with, alcoholics themselves leading it and encouraging it, and you could close down 200 AA groups tomorrow, and another 200 would pop up just sort of organically over time to meet that need. Now, as I mentioned, my hope for this book originally was to help me work on having different structures of power in my studio, and I feel like it did a little bit. There were definitely some ideas in this book that I like and want to incorporate, but it mostly didn't really feel super relevant to me working at such a small business. A lot of the ideas in this feel more suited to larger companies and corporations, and just sort of inherently when you have like a 4-person team, you're kind of already doing a lot of this just because there's only 4 people, everyone wears multiple hats, everyone kind of gives their input on everything. But where it struck me more than anything else was education and community and access in our industry, and how powerful their concept of circles and leaderless growth and going places and starting these initiatives and then letting the people involved in them shape them for what their community needs really struck me. They took a lot of time to focus on one particular activist who would drive town to town, city to city, and collect a bunch of people who you would never expect to get along and get together to talk about animal rights, and teach people how to safely and ethically go out and disrupt hunts, and help with local wildlife preservation and volunteer for animals in their community. And that he would go and he would teach these people these tools to safely do this, and then he would leave and he would let those people use the education he gave them to do what worked for their communities and their spaces to protect animals in their area. And maybe it's the timing of it all. I'm recording this just after the last Pacific Northwest Piercer meetup, but it just immediately struck me how powerful this is when we think about education and organization in the industry. And I want everyone who is in an area where education is maybe difficult to access, and who can't always afford to make it to the really big conferences to read this book and then start your own local piercer meetup. And maybe it's just you and one other piercer going out for pizza or something and talking about some experiences you've had piercing or in your piercing room lately. But that's the start of something. And I say this with a huge amount of love in my heart for the large organizations and the large events that happen. APP Conference, BMXNet, UK APP. There are many very large events that happen all over the world in terms of piercing education and safety and outreach that are awesome. But most of them are spider organizations. And they have a limit to what they can do for local communities. Also, in the world now more than ever, it is increasingly difficult for a lot of people to be able to go to these events. I'm sitting here this year as many of my international friends do not feel safe coming to America for conference, which I think is so completely fair. The thing, I wouldn't come to this country right now either if you don't have to. I just wouldn't, because it is getting scary and it is getting dark. And it has been for a long time, but it is particularly bad right now. It's also, you know, we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. We're in the middle of like what is looming towards, I think, a very large recession. Money is very tight. Vegas is like the most overpriced place ever. It's very, very expensive to go somewhere very loud and overwhelming and like not super great for a lot of people, for a week during the very hot summer. In the same vein, like I super love BMX, but Berlin can be really expensive. And so not everyone is going to be able to afford to fly over there and go there and attend an event there. But we don't have to wait and rely on these big events and these wonderful, but spider-like organizations to be our only way of accessing education or community. And these large events do their veritable best to target their education towards everyone, but there's no possible way to hyper-target what they're teaching or talking about when you have people attending from literally all over the world. So what does it look like for more piercers to start local area meetups and start small local events and see where that goes? And if you recall, that's kind of what APP was when it started. That's kind of what BMXNet was when it started, was just a smaller gathering of piercers getting together who wanted to learn, who wanted to grow, who wanted to foster this community. And it has grown into this big, massive, and exciting thing that it is today. And we see smaller events like this cropping up all over. My mind immediately goes to the Wee Scottish Piercing Expo, to the UK Trade Show, to all of these wonderful independent educational events that are cropping up all over the world. And that makes me so excited and so thrilled for the community. It is hard to put into words. And I think about our own little PNW Piercer meetup and the Bay Area Piercer meetup. And there's now, I think, like a New England or like upstate New York Piercer meetup that's getting going. And I was just having a conversation with an amazing peer of mine based out of Sacramento. And I was like, you should do a Sacramento piercing meetup, you know? And just seeing more community and more education. And this book really made me think of all of the benefits of what it looks like to start local, to start independent. I'm not saying that like a local area piercer meetup is going to replace the knowledge that you're going to get at conference or at some of these bigger events. But you can target it for your specific area and what your area needs. For example, I know after a particularly bad hurricane season, I recall quite a few Florida piercers getting together and talking about genuine infections they'd been seeing in piercings after a very bad series of hurricanes had dumped a lot of like toxic algae and water in the area, and we were seeing a lot of toxic algae blooms. And the community was able to come together hyper local for their area and talk about, okay, how do we support each other? How do we educate other piercers so they know what to look for and they know when to send their clients to the doctors? And how do we handle what is happening in our community? Every community in every region is different. There are climate factors that play a huge role in what we do, what's trendy or popular in your area, what's going on in your area that needs support. I look at the way Minneapolis piercers and studios have been able to rally in support of what is happening there and do a lot of really incredible on the ground work in terms of like assisting protesters who've been arrested with jewelry reinstalls and connecting to create safe space for community members, and educating about not allowing ICE in your businesses, and doing local community outreach and helping, because they already had a strong network with other studios and were able to say, okay, this bigger thing is happening right now that we can put our energy towards, and like, how can we participate and help? And I am so inspired by the posts and the things that I've seen from piercers in this region and like the work that they have been doing on the ground to help out. I think about lots of other community organizing I do. Cass from DeKalb comes to mind immediately, who does really cool educational outreach in their local area, and encourages people to access their libraries and educates about piercing and piercing history. And it's just building something really magical. And while I went into this hoping that this book would teach me a little bit more about how to structure and incorporate things in my studio, and I think it works very well for much larger studios, and there's still, I still a worthwhile read from that front. I do think I still took a lot from it. This more so encouraged me to think outside of the box about community and education, that I don't have to wait till once a year or twice a year and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to see my friends and to access education and to grow as a piercer. And that doesn't have to be the only way that I learn and grow and progress, and create better and safer spaces for clients. That we all have the power to just start a local meetup, start a local group, even if it's just a few piercers hanging out. Talk about what you saw this week, what worked, what didn't, what you struggle with, what you have questions for. We don't have to wait to get education and to get access. And I talk to piercers all of the time who live in impoverished areas, and in areas where they like, the thought of attending some of these events is a dream, and they feel like the only way they're going to become a great piercer is if they can go to APP or go to BMX or go to UK and go to these big events. And there's a lot of good education at these events, but that's not the only way for us to access it. And we don't have to wait for these big and expensive and sometimes difficult to access events to keep learning and growing. We can start our own something in our backyard. It starts by just getting a bunch of piercers together and talking and educating and sharing experiences. And that you at home right now have the power to do this and to foster this community and to create these connections. And now more than ever, I think that is something that we really need and we can really all benefit from. It really made me rethink the fact that I think I've spent a long time, I kind of think I've been broaching this for a while over years, thinking that it has to be a big conference or a certain big name to teach me something, or for me to learn, or for me to be like the accepted education in the industry. But frankly, sometimes I learn more sitting across the table, snacking on a cheese plate or some sliced veggies with the new piercer from down the block who just poses a question or says something in a way that I've never thought of before. Everyone has things to learn and teach. Get together with people in your area. Start a your area specific piercer meetup. Support each other, share techniques and what works for you. Talk about what you're seeing in your communities. Talk about how, local weather and climate events are affecting how you heal. Plan for big concerts or music festivals or college event days. Talk about what piercings are popular in your area and how you do them and how you navigate handling them. Warn each other and keep each other safe if there's unsafe people coming to your studios. Build the community you want to be a part of. You are already in a village. You just have to be the villager. This book really filled me with a fire for all of the wonderful community organizing that we are doing here with the PNW Piercer meetup. Shout out to Colin from Laughing Buddha and Alexander from Forge for being just so wonderful to work with and put these events on. And I hope that if you are a piercer out there and you watch this in the next month or two, you invite at least one other piercer out to dinner or to do something. If not, invite a bunch to do a local hangout at your studio or at like a third space that you have access to, and start being the community you want to see. Start making your own circles. Start sculpting what you want out of your community. We all have the power to do that. And I know it's scary and it's intimidating to take that first step. Please, anyone who's thinking about hosting any kind of Piercer meetup, feel free to reach out to myself and the rest of the crew for the PNW Piercer meetups. We would love to offer you any advice we have about how we run things, the systems we use, what we do. But it's really not that overcomplicated. We were a bunch of piercers who got together and were like, hey, it would be cool to hang out with more piercers and do some educational stuff here. And we found a really big room we could use and invited a bunch of homies. And now here we are, 2 years. I think we're going on 2 years of PNW Piercer meetups now. And it's really cool to be in control of our community's own education and learning and growth and access. We just had a dentist come out and speak with us about oral health and hygiene concerns with piercings. I learned more in that amazing and informal class than I did in a lot of the oral facial anatomy classes I've taken at some of the bigger events in the last couple of years. And I was so grateful to have been able to be afforded that opportunity. And shout out Dr. F for being such an amazing presenter. I'm hoping to get him to go to APP and BMX and the other big ones because he's amazing. So everyone, cross your fingers with me that we can convince Dr. Fighter to come teach at some of the bigger events. But we don't have to wait for those bigger events to start this now. We can create our own circles. We can be in charge of our own community. And that is a big takeaway that I took from this one. So it's really good. It's going on the media list. It's kind of going on the bottom of the media list because it doesn't have as much relevancy in the day-to-day as I wanted. But I still think it's a good read. And I still think we need to talk more about hierarchical versus horizontal power structures in the industry and how we better format studios to incorporate that. So if folks have recommendations for things that will help with that more in a small business sense, hit me with them in the comments because that is something that I want to spend a little bit more time reading about and learning about for sure. All right, folks, thanks so much for sitting down and hanging out for this slightly out of left field book review. I assure you the next one is going to be very relevant directly to piercing and body modification stuff. I've gotten my hands on a relatively tricky sometimes to find out of print old piercing book, so I cannot wait to sit down and review that with you next month. Have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to sit down and chat with y'all next week. Bye.